We all know Lucasfilm made some great movies, even some great video games. But did you know they made action figures? Let's take a look. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming right back at you with another video. That's right, 2 videos a day, one at noon, one at 8, Monday through Friday. Oh, you're so lucky to get a video. I don't get to watch Junkman. I make the videos. Anyway, let's go back to talk about Lucasfilm. Remember, Lucasfilm made video games under LucasArts. That's right, under LucasArts. And they made some really fun video games. But did you know they also made action figure? Well, they made an action figure. One action figure. Before we get into that action figure, let's look at the game it was based on. In 2002, Lucasfilm started developing a new video game that was not related to the Star Wars universe. The game was planned for a late 2003 release on all the major playing platforms of the day: GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox. Gladius. The game would allow players to build a school of gladiators and team them into battle against other opposing schools in a quest for fortune and glory. Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory. The plot focused on several of the main characters that slowly affects the decision of the group, eventually leading them into a final large battle that would test the skills of the members of the school. If you didn't want to play with yourself, who wouldn't want to do that? You could play in a multiplayer game. The multiplayer game could play up to 4 characters and play in story modes and complete the game side by side. This wasn't the first time LucasArts reached out to make a video game that wasn't Star Wars related. In fact, their very first game was Ball Blazer, released under Atari back in 1985. Of course, that was under Lucasfilm. The first official game released under LucasArts was Secret Weapon of Luftwaffe in 1991 for MS-DOS. DOS. Remember DOS? I had AOL for DOS. I really did. I had AOL for DOS. That's how old I am. Anyway, what LucasArts did was they released this game with an action figure, but you couldn't get it anywhere. You had to go to ebgames.com. Remember EB? This was like the GameStop of its day. It was in a lot of malls before GameStop took over. I'll call it the good old days. But let's take a look at this figure. The figure release was called Mongolia Man, and he looked like a reject from Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. And he actually did come on a card that said, "Not for resale." The package art really didn't do nothing to make you hyped up for the game, but I guess if you got the figure, you already had the game, being that you got the game when you bought it at ebgames.com. And although this is technically released by LucasArts, it's actually made by another toy company called Workshop. As far as I can figure out, this was the only action figure they ever made. But it does brand the LucasArts logo. Sadly, this game just didn't sell well. From all the reviews, it was well liked. People that played it, they liked this game. In fact, the Xbox magazine, the official Xbox magazine, said this was the best game no one played. I never played it, but I hear it was pretty good from all the reviews I read. But due to lack of sales, Lucasfilm canceled the release of the action figure line. At least 2 other figures were planned. One, a huge blob of a man named Galbert. Hope I pronounced that right. I probably didn't. And the other was the hero of the game, Valance. A figure of Nephilia was rumored to have been shown at E3 back in 2003, but I could find no proof of that. And sadly, there's no prototype of the unreleased figures, which by the time the line was canceled, was probably way past the prototype stage. The problem with this is they only released 1 figure. I mean, even fans of the game, it's just 1 figure, and it wasn't even the main character. If they released maybe the other figures at the store, and you got the figure free when you bought the game online all around the same time, I doubt it would have helped the sales of the game, but maybe fans of the game would have at least bought the figures, so they could celebrate, put them up on their little toy shelf and everything, because they are nicely looking figures. They are nicely done. But sadly, we only got the one, that Marlboro Man, or whatever his name was, that ape-looking thing. But sadly, we didn't get more Lucasfilm Arts action figures. Again, overall, the figures doesn't look bad. The card art is okay. It should have been a little bit better, maybe to promote the game a little bit better, but it looked okay. You can find this figure now online on the card for about $15. If you want it loose, it's about under $10, which is, fair to price for a figure that was never released in stores. It was just ebgames.com. How many action figures were exclusive to EB Games only? I can't think of many. In fact, this is the only one I can think of. But that's a look at the time Lucasfilm made an action figure under their LucasArts banner. Well, did you have this figure? Did you play the game? Was it fun? Tell me about the game. I never even heard of it until today. So let me know what you thought about the game or the figure line. Maybe you do have it. Well, as always, I'm going to say all my content. Subscribe to the channel. And we'll talk again.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.